Everybody, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. I'm back with a brand new list. Since we have the 1000th edition of Monday Night Raw coming up, I figure now would be a good time to give you my top 30 greatest moments in Raw history. So for this video, I'm going to start with number 30 and work my way down to number 26. My number 30, Edge and Lita's live sex celebration. This was a huge segment. Edge had come off his Money in the Bank win over John Cena, and he was going to do a big celebration. So him and Lita got in bed. They had the bed set up in the middle of the ring, and it was unique. It was a breakout segment for Edge. It really put over Edge as the rated R superstar. And it ended up being one of the highest rated segments in Raw history up to that point. I mean, it did a huge number for that period. So that was an awesome Raw segment and one that people still remember. Number 29, Vince McMahon revealed as the higher power. WWE had the whole corporate ministry and Steve Austin storyline, and there was this mystery higher power. And up to that point, Vince McMahon had turned babyface, and he was starting to align himself with Steve Austin against the corporate ministry. But then, the swerve of all swerves. It was me, Austin. It was me all along. A classic line from Vince McMahon. Now, storyline-wise, it didn't really make a whole lot of logical sense, but Vince McMahon just pulled it off so well. His performance was just so tremendous that people still talk about it today, and that's a line that I always see people mentioning on social media. So, classic Raw segment right there. Number 28, Ric Flairs' farewell from 2008, the night after WrestleMania. Ric Flair's retirement, it was a huge deal. Ric Flair had his final match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24. Very emotional. Shawn Michaels super kicked him. He said, "I'm sorry, I love you," right before hitting it. And that was the end of Ric Flair's career, at least in the WWE. And the next night, Ric Flair came out, and it was just an awesome moment. You had all these superstars coming out, paying tribute to arguably the greatest superstar of all time when you look at the whole industry and what Ric Flair accomplished. So, really cool moment, very emotional, and it's something, if you watched it, you'll never forget it. Number 27, Bret Hart quits the WWF. This is from 1997. This was the night after the Royal Rumble when Bret Hart had eliminated Steve Austin, but then Steve Austin came back in the ring, and when the referees were distracted, he dumped out everybody, including Bret Hart. Bret Hart was pissed. He came out, and this was a period, a transitional period for WWE. They were going from the cartoon era, as I like to call it, to the Attitude Era. And Bret Hart came out and he said, "I've been screwed over by Steve Austin. I've been screwed over by the WWE." And then he points at Vince and says, "I've been screwed by you, so I quit." And this was groundbreaking television at the time. Something like this had never been done before, where a guy comes out and quits on live television. So it was a huge deal, and this was really one of those segments that helped lead into the Attitude Era. So, in my opinion, a very important segment in WWE history. Number 26, DX invades WCW. This was spring of 1998, just as the Attitude Era was kicking into high gear, and X-Pac Sean Waltman had returned to WWE and joined DX, and he was trying to get back at his former employees. So DX decided to go to the WCW event in Virginia, wherever it was, and they brought out the big tank, and they tried to get inside the building, but they shut the door at the last second. And this was huge. This was WWE going to WCW's territory, and it made such a huge impact that Eric Bischoff had to go on Nitro and respond to it. And when you watch that interview with Bischoff when he comes out, you could just see the look in his face. He is so pissed off. This really got under his skin. And this segment, this DX invading WCW, it's one of the most played segments in WWE history. They always play it when they do the Raw flashbacks. And rightfully so, it is one of the all-time great moments in Raw history.